But what are your expectations for Drake Maye this year? Beyond just, how much he plays and when he starts. We talked about that a lot. I've said I expect him to be out there week 1. He should be out there week 1. But what are your actual expectations once he gets on the field?
It's a great question. I would say there's a couple of kind of like trait things that I want to see from him, because let's say that he starts in week 8, week 9. I think it's hard to look at that and say, okay, well, he should have, his portion of the season should be a winning season. Like something like that, I just feel like at this point in the calendar is too stupid to say. I don't know what the offense is going to look like. I don't know what the coaching setup is really going to look like around him. I would like to see him be able to, this is a really big one for me. I would like him to be able to lead a game-winning drive. That is one thing that I want to see that I feel like will immediately establish
That's a great one.
Who this guy is.
Didn't Bledsoe?
Because it's something that we saw once, and it was a little weak sauce from Mac Jones in his rookie year against the Texans. And then we basically never saw it again until we already knew we were at the very end of the Mac Jones journey. So I want to see that this year. I want to see a kid go out there and be able to command the offense, whether it's in a 2-minute drill or it's just he's putting the team on his back, even if it's against another suckbag team. I want to see that trait.
Okay,
that's an important one.
That's a great one. Like that is a great box to check in his rookie year. And like Mac did it, but it was a terrible Texans team. Although now everybody tells me the Texans had all this talent, it was a super talented team, and C.J. Stroud was just a part of it.
They just didn't feel like winning yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. And so anyway, he had his terrible win over the terrible Texans, and that was his only comeback. But that's a great one. Okay, can Drake Maye have a comeback win? Didn't Bledsoe do that in '93 at the tail end? I've heard Kern said this to us yesterday. It's going to be like a Drew Bledsoe type of timeline. And, where he really elevates towards the end of the year and you build some momentum going into 94. They were a playoff team in 94. I thought he had some big walk-off win at the end of the year or one of the last weeks of the year. Bledsoe had that in 93 off the top of my head. But that's a great one. Arkin, what are your expectations for, I was about to say Bledsoe, for Drake Maye this year?
For Bledsoe, I think his winery is going to do great this year, and all the residuals from the roast are going to be
more
good.
Podcast invites.
He did so great at the roast. He has already exceeded all my expectations.
He's going to have a little more media.
Yeah, for sure.
I would guess. Unfortunately, I don't think the same kind of success is going to happen to Drake Maye this year. I just think that they didn't do enough for him. I think that the team failed him in terms of building an offense, and I think that even if he does go out there and show flashes in his rookie year, which I'm anticipating he will, I don't think he's going to be like a total failure and he's just going to be overwhelmed by the NFL. I think he'll show flashes of good throws and maybe even, a couple good drives.
This might be
points,
poor phrasing. What does a flash look like?
A flash looks like, picking up a big third down in a key spot or something, just playing well for a couple of series at a time. I don't think that he's going to have a lot of great games his rookie year, but I think there will be flashes of it in game is what I mean by that. And
yeah, let me just
that's okay. I think a lot of people are sort of anticipating that. And if you're talking about the slow burn with Drake Maye, then, that's not a terrible thing. I just don't think this year's team is going to support him enough to really bring him anywhere.
I mean, Mac really didn't flash all that much his rookie year. Like that's what I would say. Like Mac was fine and the team was winning games. Were you ever like, oh my God, look at the game he just had. Look at the throw he just had.
He didn't have moments.
Effing
Or they
never
were losses.
Against the Cowboys, he did that touchdown to Kendrick Bourne, and then they ended up losing the game. That was a great play.
That was a good flash.
That was a flash.
Go watch that highlight. That throw was awful. I said it the next day. He underthrew Kendrick. Kendrick Bourne bailed him out on that. I remember it clear as day. And so that was a big play.
It was a Kendrick Bourne flash.
It was a Kendrick Bourne flash. Yes, and they still lost that game.
Okay, well, fine. But Mac threw the ball, and it was a good highlight for him.
He threw a little pop fly that Kendrick Bourne had to bail him out on.
That he went up and got, and then he scored a touchdown. It wasn't that bad of a throw, I don't think. But either way, that's sort of what I'm talking about. And you can say that wasn't a flash, whatever. Those are the type of things I mean.
And he bounced back from a pick six right before that with Diggs, right?
Right, yeah. So, there's going to be moments for Maye this year, I think. But in general, I don't think this team's going to have enough to support him.
So, look, I like both of those. Have a comeback win. Flash. That could be the same thing, by the way. Like, that could be his flash when he comes back and has a comeback win. What?
Just sounds like he's going to
sing flash over and over again.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Don't let no trench coats around this guy.
Make sure you shave first, would you? And so I'm reading here from Jordan Reed. And who is Clay at ESPN? What's his first name? He's one of the dork fantasy guys who writes all this stuff. It is not Cassius.
You're like insulting a lot of media people today.
Who else did I insult?
That play-by-play guy.
Mike Clay.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, he blows. I also did insult. I insulted Darlington too. Actually,
you're
right.
in an incredibly nasty.
You know
mood.
what? I'm trying to get on John in the Car's good side. Anyway,
Mike Clay, I think.
Thank you. I like the fantasy football stuff, but he's
that
a
loser
weird
Mike
guy.
Clay.
He's a dorky fantasy football guy. What do you want from me? Jordan Reed says the stat that Drake Maye could lead the league in 5 years, and I think this speaks to his ability to flash passing yards.
Oh, sorry.
I see plenty of arm strength in Maye's game, and he isn't afraid of taking chances with the ball. That gunslinger mindset has its high-end moments, but passers who typically rank at the top of the league in passing yards share that competitive identity. Maye can make all the throws. Not always a compliment from Bill Belichick. And, his stats in college prove that, is what he says. So I would like to see that. Some of the big throws, big plays, big games that Mac didn't have, I think that aligns with his skill set. I want to see the arm. I want to see the arm talent in year one, even if they're not winning games, even if he's throwing picks. I want to see some of the flash plays on the other side of it, the playmaking that I never saw from Mac Jones. I saw all the mistakes from Mac Jones. I never saw the playmaking. Ideally, you don't see any mistakes, but he's a rookie. You'll probably see him. I want to see those positive plays. Mike Clay, again, big fantasy dork. His stats for Drake Maye this year. Would you be okay with these numbers? 3,400 passing yards, 3,378.
How many games is this supposed to be?
17 touchdowns, 13 picks, 300 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns.
How many games is?
Let's say it's every single one.
It's a very Mackey type season.
Yeah, I would like more. I would like more passing yards than that. Unless you're telling me that they're an incredible run offense.
See, I would sign off on those numbers right now. Now, look, I would hope for more too. What did Mac have his rookie year?
Mac's rookie year, 38-01, 22 and 13.
Yeah, and people liked Mac's rookie year,
right?
So
well, that's better than what you just read.
But I expect more.
Well, I do and I don't.
I expect you're talking about what his traits are with his arm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want more passing yards.
Okay, but he can show the traits without putting up the stats. I mean, Mac, we all agree, was on a better team then, right?
Yes.
And so if he's putting up, with the trash he has around him right now, if he puts up the same numbers as Mac, his rookie year when Mac was on a playoff team, and not because of Mac.
Didn't that say 3,400?
Yeah, but I'm saying those are similar numbers.
3,800.
I'm saying if he played in 17, I don't know what he's projecting for games.
I would like him to be more.
What if that's 10 games?
Okay, 10 games, that's great.
Okay, whatever.
I sign off for that.
I'm saying if his numbers are close to Mac his rookie year, that's good.
How many games? If that's 17 games, I would like him way closer to 4,000 territory.
Okay. Meanwhile, here's Tommy Curran last night. And remember, we just played you Burt Breer saying, oh, Jacoby Brissett's the perfect teammate. I don't know. Listen to Tommy Curran and let me know how you feel about this.
97% of Jacoby Brissett's responsibilities this year are devoted to winning football games and getting his stuff straight. That's what he owes the Patriots. That's what he's being paid $8 million to do. If, by osmosis, Drake Maye learns, and if, on occasion, Jacoby Brissett says, you want to look for this, then that's great. But it is not his job to tutor, mentor, or in other ways treat him like an apprentice. They need to compete, and I think that's what Drake Maye needs to understand. That's the starter.
Okay, I just couldn't disagree with that more. Like, Jacoby Brissett is brought in for all those other things. He's not brought in to compete. If you wanted a competitive quarterback, you would have signed Gardner Minshew, or you would have brought in
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you would have brought in a good quarterback. They brought in a guy who is a good teammate. So that like, ideally, you want somebody to quote unquote compete with Drake Maye. But like, I think the Cam Newton Mac Jones competition was a sham right from the start. Cam was done. They knew Cam was done. It's why they drafted Mac 15.
When they re-signed
that wasn't
Cam,
a real competition.
Yeah, when they re-signed Cam ahead of the draft, everybody was like, how the hell are they doing this?
Yeah.
Why would they ever do this?
But at least Cam played a full season before that. You know, like he was the starter and he played the whole season, and they didn't put Stidham in. So it's like, I understand that a little bit more than this. Like, you just brought Brissett in. Newton was your starter the year before.
Jacoby.
So it's a different thing.
Jacoby, your job is to hold the clipboard. Your job is to teach him the offense. Wear your hat backwards. That's your job. That's your job. That's what you're there to do. Bring along the kid. You're not there to be the quarterback. You're not there to be the starter. Your job is to bring him along and lose that competition. That's your job. And then collect your $8 million check.